Jaya नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
ततो जयमुदीरये
ततो जयमुदीरये।
नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु
नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
भगवति उत्तमश्लोके
भगवति उत्तमश्लोके
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी।
Hare Krishna. You know, take some raisins and give them to him one at a time. So he has to have, Maharaj has to have some engagement. Rukmani, give some raisins or something like that. Small things. Okay, let's chant. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto, 20th chapter, text number 17. So vedabase.io, Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto, 20th chapter, verse number 17. 11.20.17. Okay. नृदेहमाद्यं सुलभं सुदुर्लभं
नृदेहमाद्यं सुलभं सुदुर्लभं
प्लवं सुकल्पं गुरुकर्णधारं
प्लवं सुकल्पं गुरुकर्णधारं
मयानुकूलेन नभस्वतेरितं
मयानुकूलेन नभस्वतेरितं
पुमान् भवाब्धिं न तरेत् स आत्मः
पुमान् भवाब्धिं न तरेत् स आत्मः
नृदेहमाद्यं सुलभं सुदुर्लभं
नृदेहमाद्यं सुलभं सुदुर्लभं
प्लवं सुकल्पं गुरुकर्णधारं
प्लवं सुकल्पं गुरुकर्णधारं
मयानुकूलेन नभस्वतेरितं
मयानुकूलेन नभस्वतेरितं
पुमान् भवाब्धिं न तरेत् स आत्मः
पुमान् भवाब्धिं न तरेत् स आत्मः
नृदेहमाद्यं सुलभं सुदुर्लभं
नृदेहमाद्यं सुलभं सुदुर्लभं
प्लवं सुकल्पं गुरुकर्णधारं
प्लवं सुकल्पं गुरुकर्णधारं
मयानुकूलेन नभस्वतेरितं
मयानुकूलेन नभस्वतेरितं
पुमान् भवाब्धिं न तरेत् स आत्मः
पुमान् भवाब्धिं न तरेत् स आत्मः
11.20.17 Oh, me. Okay.
नदेहमाद्यं सुलभं सुदुर्लभं
नदेहमाद्यं सुलभं सुदुर्लभं
प्लवं सुकल्पं गुरुकर्णधारं
प्लवं सुकल्पं गुरुकर्णधारं
मयानुकूलेन नभस्वतेरितं
मयानुकूलेन नभस्वतेरितं
पुमान् भवाब्धिं न तरेत् स आत्मः
पुमान् भवाब्धिं न तरेत् स आत्मः
Please chant. Everybody chant. 11.20.17
11-20-17 नृदेहमाद्यं सुलभं सुदुर्लभं
नृदेहमाद्यं सुलभं सुदुर्लभं
प्लवं सुकल्पं गुरुकर्णधारं
प्लवं सुकल्पं गुरुकर्णधारं
मयानुकूलेन नभस्वतेरितं
मयानुकूलेन नभस्वतेरितं
पुमान् भवाब्धिं न तरेत् स आत्मः
पुमान् भवाब्धिं न तरेत् स आत्मः
हृदेहमाद्यं सुलभं सुदुर्लभं
देहमाद्यं सुलभं सुदुर्लभं
प्लवं सुकल्पं गुरुकर्णधारं
प्लवं सुकल्पं गुरुकर्णधारम्
मयानुकूलेन नभस्वतीरितं
मयानुकूलेन नभस्वतीरितं
पुमान् भवाब्धिं न तरेत् स आत्मः
पुमान् भवाब्धिं न तरेत् स आत्मः
नृणेहमाद्यं सुलभं सुदुर्लभं
नृदेहमाद्यं सुलभं सुदुर्लभं
प्लवं सुकल्पं गुरुकर्णधारं
प्लवं सुकल्पं गुरुकर्णधारम्
मयानुकूलेन नभस्वतीरितं
मयानुकूलेन नभस्वतीरितं
पुमान् भवाब्धिं न तरेत् स आत्मः
पुमान् भवाब्धिं न तरेत् स आत्मः
हृदेहमाद्यं सुलभं सुदुर्लभं
हृदेहमाद्यं सुलभं सुदुर्लभं
प्लवं सुकल्पं गुरुकर्णधारं
प्लवं सुकल्पं गुरुकर्णधारम्
मयानुकूलेन नभस्वतेरितं
मयानुकूलेन नभस्वतीरितं
पुमान् भवाब्धिं न तरेत् स आत्मः
पुमान् भवाब्धिं न तरेत् स आत्मः
हृदेहमाद्यं सुलभं सुदुर्लभं
हृदेहमाद्यं सुलभं सुदुर्लभं
प्लवं सुकल्पं गुरुकर्णधारं
प्लवं सुकल्पं गुरुकर्णधारम्
मयानुकूलेन नभस्वतेतं
मयानुकूलेन नभस्वतेरितं
पुमान् भवाब्धिं न तरेत् स आत्मः
पुमान् भवाब्धिं न तरेत् स आत्मः
नृदेहमाद्यं सुलभं सुदुर्लभं
हृदेहमाद्यं सुलभं सुदुर्लभं
प्लवं सुकल्पं गुरुकर्णधारणं
प्लवं सुकल्पं गुरुकर्णधारम्
मयानुकूलेन नभास्वतेरितं
मयानुकूलेन नभस्वतेरितं
पुमान् भवाब्धिं न तरेत् स आत्मः
पुमान् भवाब्धिं न तरेत् स आत्मः
हृदेहमाद्यं सुलभं सुदुर्लभं
हृदेहमाद्यं सुलभं सुदुर्लभं
प्लवं सुकल्पं गुरुकर्णधारं
प्लवं सुकल्पं गुरुकर्णधारम्
नभस्वतेरितं
मयानुकूलेन नभस्वतेरितं
पुमान् भवाब्धिं न तरेत् स आत्मः
पुमान् भवाब्धिं न तरेत् स आत्मः
Mother, you understand? Your mother? No, she's in the kitchen. What about Chaitanya Hari? You ready to chant now? Bolo? Okay, next time. Next time, but I'm still waiting. Okay. Okay. Human. Deham. Body. Adyam. The source of all favorable results. Sulabham. Effortlessly obtained. Sudurlabham. Although impossible to obtain even with great endeavor. Plavam. Abode. Sukalpam. Extremely well suited for its purpose. Guru. Having the spiritual master. Karnadharam. As the captain of the boat. Maya. By me. Anukulena. With favorable. Navasvata. Winds. Iritam. Impelled. Puman. A person. Bhava. Of material existence. Abhim. The ocean. Na. Does not. Tare,
Tare,
cross over, Saha, he, Atmaha, the killer of his own soul. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Actually, this is not by Srila Prabhupada, the purport, it's by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. So there were 3 disciples of Srila Prabhupada who completed the Srimad Bhagavatam after his departure. So Hridayananda Das Goswami, Dravida Prabhu, Gopi Paranadhan Prabhu, Jayadvaita Maharaj, etc. were involved in this, but specifically Hridayananda Maharaj was leading this effort. Okay? So he's very, the devotees requested him to complete the Bhagavatam, and he did that out of humility. And if you look at the purports are actually the translations of the purports by the previous acharyas, Sanatana Goswami, etc., Siddhar Swami, etc., previous acharyas. They have not actually, some people think that we are not meant to read anything that in the Bhagavatam after Srila Prabhupada left the planet. But this is foolish, because Srila Prabhupada enabled and empowered his disciples to give us transcendental knowledge. Okay, so we are reading the translations and purport for his disciples. Srila Prabhupada's disciples. Please repeat. The human body, which can award all benefit in life, is automatically obtained by the laws of nature. Although it is a very rare achievement. This human body can be compared to a perfectly constructed boat, having the spiritual master as a captain, and the instructions of the personality of Godhead as favorable winds, impelling it on its course. Considering all these advantages, a human being who does not utilize his human life to cross the ocean of material existence must be considered the killer of his own soul. You know what? Keep him here, give him some quiet activity to do, and he will be fine. But keep him in the class.
Okay.
If you get him used to getting out of the class every time he makes a little bit of noise, then he will get used to getting out of the class every time he wants. You should remain here, do some quiet activity, give him some cards, some stickers.
रुक्मणी कुछ कार्ड स्टिकर ऐसा कुछ दो ना ड्राइंग वाइंग करने
drawing, a little bit of prasad even. Keep him busy in the class quietly so that he will hear the Bhagavatam and he will be benefited by that.
Okay.
Because that is a sanskar, not the specific thing that you do at the moment of some 2 hours or whatever. This is the samskar. Okay. For him to practice devotional service is the real samskar. So he should remain in the class. Somehow or the other we have to make arrangements for him to stay in the class. If we take him out, then he will be used to be going out all the time. Yeah. Okay, so it will be done. Okay, good. Please read let's read the translation again together. Repeat after me. The human body, which can award all benefit in life,
is
automatically obtained by the laws of nature. Although it is a very rare achievement. This human body can be compared to a perfectly constructed boat, having the spiritual master as a captain. And the instructions of the personality of Godhead as favorable winds, impelling it on its course. Considering all these advantages, a human being who does not utilize his human life to cross the ocean of material existence must be considered killer of his own soul. Okay. Purport by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. The human body, which is obtained after passing through many inferior forms, is created in such a way that it can award the highest perfection of life. A human being is supposed to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the bona fide spiritual master is the appropriate guide for such service. The causeless mercy of Lord Krishna is compared to favorable winds that help the boat of the body to ply smoothly on the course back home, back to Godhead. Lord Krishna gives his personal instructions in Vedic literature, speaks to the bona fide spiritual master, and encourages, warns, and protects his sincere devotee from within the devotee's heart. Such merciful guidance of the Lord moves a sincere soul quickly on the path back to Godhead. But one who cannot understand that the human body is a suitable boat for crossing the ocean of material existence will see no need to accept a captain in the form of the spiritual master, and will not at all appreciate the favorable winds of the Lord's mercy. He has no chance of achieving the goal of human life. Acting against his own self-interest, he gradually becomes the killer of his own soul. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chukshumishtamidhina Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sarvanarvanathamitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sarvanarvada Shri Vishakhan Vikamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jayam Sutau Pangor Mamamangamatir Gati Matsarasa Prabhojau Radha Madan Mohan Divya Kalpamadar Srimad Radha Simhasanastho Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Devo Preshtai Visaya Mahanusmarami Sriman Rasarasaram Bhimam Shivatakasastita Karshashenu Svane Gopir Gopinatha Shishestuna Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishwanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripavasanubhyascha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nrdehamadhyam sulabham sudurlabham
Nrdehamadhyam sulabham sudurlabham
Lavam sukalpam guru karnadharam
Lavam sukalpam guru karnadharam
Mayanukulena nabhasvateritam
Mayanukulena nabhasvateritam
Puman bhavabdhim nataretsa atmaha
Puvan bhavabdhim nataretsa atmaha.
Who is a disciple of Katu Prabhu? Anybody? Second. You both?
Second initiated by Kirtan.
Okay. Both of you are disciples of Katu Prabhu. So I heard this verse for the very first time more than 15 years ago from Katu Prabhu in Toronto, in North York actually, the home of Shamalangi Mataji, who is now in the Middle East. And ever since I heard that class, I have never forgotten that class. It was such an unforgettable class. There was just a few people, just like this. It was a small home program. Shamalangi Mataji did not know many people at that time. She invited a few people to her house. And Katu Prabhu was there along with Mother Amrita Kelly. And so I heard this class from him. So I'm going to deliver whatever I heard from him. Okay? So many years ago. I have heard many other. Srila Prabhupada has spoken about this verse directly and indirectly many times. Many other spiritual masters have spoken about this verse. It's a very important verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. The context of this verse is actually, there's a Bhagavad Gita. Everybody has read the Bhagavad Gita. So there's another Gita by Sri Krishna. There are many other Gitas, but most of those Gitas are not useful. They are atheistic in many ways, etc. But this Uddhava Gita that Lord Shri Krishna is speaking to Uddhava is especially helpful for devotees who are serious about spiritual life, who actually want to succeed in spiritual life. The Bhagavad Gita as it is meant to awaken the desire for spiritual life in the heart of the ordinary conditioned living entity. Okay? And this Uddhav Gita is meant to awaken the pure love of God in the heart of the living entity who's already started their spiritual journey. So it's a very, very special, amazing piece of text, and everybody should carefully read this part of the Srimad Bhagavatam and really reflect on these verses. Okay? So Shri Krishna is saying here, Nradeham Adhyam Sulabham Sudurlabham. What is Sulabham and what is Durlabham is to be understood carefully. Okay? In this human form of life, it is easy to pursue spiritual life. You can understand this very easily if I were to bring all the dogs and cats of Sudbury. I would not bring them in front of the Lord here because they would be doing all kinds of crazy things. But if I were to be able to bring them all here and tell them, you sit down and you now listen to the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, or listen to the Srimad Bhagavatam, or chant the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chant the Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, or, will they be able to do it? No, it's not possible for animals to do it. I mean, great souls have done it. Several animals, we see many pastimes of animals who somehow or other remembered something from their past lives and came to the Lord. There are many such examples, but in general, the general exception is there. Bharat Maharaj, the deer, was listening to the discourses of Pulaha, Rishi, but it's not possible for most animals to pay attention to this. In fact, it is not possible for human beings, except in a particular stage of life, to pay attention to pay attention to Bhagavatam. We have one example right there. Okay, not yet. He's still in a consciousness where he cannot focus on the message of the Srimad Bhagavatam or the Bhagavad Gita. Of course, whatever he's hearing is going to benefit him forever. And then there's a certain stage of life. Sometimes it can happen even at the age of 60 or 70 or 80, when the human brain becomes very weak and cannot focus and does not have attention span. The human body needs to sleep a lot. The human body needs so much. They have so many other issues that they cannot sit in the class and hear about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So there's a very limited stage of life when we can actually hear about and practice devotional service. So this is, even in the human life, there's a particular very short window of opportunity where we have to cultivate this. We lose that opportunity, you have to wait for the next time the human life is coming again. So now that is Sulabham. So even though spiritual perfection is impossible, spiritual perfection is actually not possible for a fallen soul, but it is made easy in the human form of life. No, what is this? Is this a contradiction? It is easy, it's not easy, right? So it is because most of our conditioned life is passed not in human life. It is passed in the lower species of life. There are in the Srimad Bhagavatam and in the Padma Puran and other scriptures, it has been mentioned that there are 8.4 million species of life. So 84 lakhs, 8.4 million species of life. So out of these species of life, 400,000 of those species are human, and 8 million of them are non-human. Okay? So we have a certain number of Jalaja, Navalakshani, etc. There are 9 lakhs who live inside the water. Thavara, Lakshamimshati. There are 20 lakhs of plants, species of plants, etc. Like starting from the algae and all the different kinds of plants, both sinful and pious plants, and so many different species of life are there. Okay, so that verse is from the Padma Puran, which mentions that, but we don't need to focus on that for this particular verse. But there are many species of life. Now, does everybody here understand the concept of probability? Probability, understand probability? So probability means if you flip a coin that is fair, and if it lands on heads or tails, there are only 2 possible outcomes. So therefore, the probability that heads will come is 50%. Probability that tails will come is 50%. Right? Of course, if you weight the coin a little bit, like you put an additional gram of metal on one of the sides, then the probability changes. Right? So it's not a fair coin. So heads will come more often or tails will come more often, right? So like that probability. So now if you think about a coin that has 8,400,000 sides. Imagine a coin that has 8,400,000 sides, right? And you're flipping the coin, okay? So what is the probability that will land on one of the 400,000 human species? The mathematics is 400,000 divided by 8,400,000. So somebody can do that calculation. You will get a very tiny number. Give me that number. 400,000 divided by 8,400,000.
You need a scientific calculator for that.
You just type on Google.
It's fine. It's easy to detect it. Or every smartphone can do it. Okay. So now, knowing that every form of life has a different duration of life, I have not even included the duration.
0.47 61904.
Now divide that by 100, please.
0.0.
It's like 0.000, like 4 zeros, then 47619.
So it's 0.00005%. Okay, that is the probability that somebody is in human form of life. And now this calculation is very rough. Why is it rough? Because every species of life has a different duration of life. A germ, like a bacteria, can live for a few hours. Right? An insect can live for a few days or a couple of weeks. Right? A small animal, like a beaver, might live for 1 or 2 years. Right? A bear might live for 10 or 20 years. Right? A tree, on the other hand, can live for 5,000 years or 10,000. Trees in California that are right? So different durations. An elephant lives for a certain amount of time. A tortoise lives for a certain amount of time. A human being in the Kali Yuga lives for 100 years, give or take. Right? Depending on our karmic reactions, we live more. We can live a little bit less. Right? Most people live less than 100 years. Okay? The probability of 100 years is even low. You can look at StatScan and find out how many people have crossed 100. It's a very low number compared to the total population in Canada. It's even lower in India, right? India. So the probability that you can find yourself in human life is very, very tiny. It's 0.0000. Like you start adding the ages of the different species, you start calculating that, you'll add many more zeros to it. Not just 4 zeros, many more zeros to it. Okay? So the bottom line is that all of us have been rotating in the different species of life continuously. So Siddhananda Maharaj and his team, they are saying in this verse that the human body, which is obtained after passing through many inferior forms, is created in such a way that it can award the highest perfection of life in the purport. And in the translation, is automatically obtained by the laws of nature. That means it is not that in any other form of life you can suddenly find a way to short circuit your process to get back a human form of life. Bharat Maharaj was an exception, that in one animal life he got a human life after that. He was an exception, right? He's in the Bhagavatam. You know the story of Bharat Maharaj? He was a great king, the descendant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead personally, the son of Rishabdev, right? And he heard Rishabdev's instructions carefully. And at a full youthful age, when he realized that he had sons who could take care of his kingdom, he gave up his kingdom and he went to the forest to meditate. While he was meditating on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he saw that a little baby deer was about to drown in the river next to where he was meditating. So he saved the deer, and he not only saved the deer but got attached to it, just like we get attached to children who are actually not ours. They're just passing through us. They are not ours. We get attached to them, but they are not ours. We are meant to serve them, but they are not ours. They are Krishna's, right? So they are just passing through us, right? So similarly, Maharaj Bharat got attached to this deer, and at the last moment, he was only thinking about the deer, and because he was thinking about the deer, he got the body of a deer. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavan tajyati ante kalevaram tam tamevaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitah. That's what happened to Maharaj Bharat. But because he was such a great devotee, practically on the level of bhava, he got a concession to come back into human life right after. He remembered in his dear life, he remembered that I was Maharaj Bharat and have become I'm in the body of a deer right now. He remembered that. So that is very, very rare. Right? Most people who get into animal forms will not remember that they were human. Right? A human being, for example, gets attached to a dog, but has the karmic facility to enjoy good facilities, will become a dog who stays in a penthouse apartment of downtown Toronto. Right? But they don't remember that they were a human being. And after that, they will struggle. Right? So once you get into the animal species of life, you have to wait for approximately 8 million births to come back into one of the human forms of life. And among the human forms of life, among the four, we haven't calculated the probability of that. Not all human forms of life are conducive to spiritual realization. There are bodies which are very dull-headed. There are bodies which are born to mothers who took drugs when the baby was in the womb, or took alcohol, or took, there are babies born where the television is blaring 24/7, and they are conditioned with material life even before they are out of the womb. They are completely conditioned to whatever is going on the television, right? So all of these human forms of life are there, and not all 400,000 are conducive for proper. Like some human forms of life are in the celestial kingdom, like Apsaras and Vidyadharas and Charanas and there are many other species of life, where it's very easy to get distracted by material sense gratification, and spiritual advancement is very difficult. So this particular form of life on this particular planetary system, the earthly Bhuloka system, is the human form of life which everybody aspires for who is interested in spiritual realization. But neither you live too long, neither you live too less, neither life too comfortable, nor life is too not uncomfortable. Right in the middle where it is. Okay. So all of this, what I wanted to say is that the opportunity that we have right now, today, is extremely, extremely, extremely rare. Even within our life, Prahlad Maharaj did the calculation of how little time we have. In the 7th canto, there is a calculation of Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj says, well, the first 10 years are wasted in childish play, right? No transcendental consciousness, right? The last 20 years are wasted in jarjaraha dehe. You become, the body becomes chitil, like it becomes very weak and you don't know if you're going to fall down in the next moment. You're constantly, all your attention is, imagine you're carrying a pot of liquid on your head. If you move your head this way or that way, the thing will fall down. Right? The old age is like that. Old people have to be very careful, hold on to this, hold on to that, move. They're extremely difficult for them when they're conscious. But they also have to sleep a lot. They take a lot of medications which make them sleep a lot. Like this, so many things happen. I've seen so many elderly devotees go through this kind of process. It's extremely scary, old age, by the way. So again, there are people, here working 2 jobs and 3 jobs, right? So you know how little time you have. Right? You're working, and when you're working, what do you need to be focused on? You cannot be focused on Krishna at least half the time, if you can ever be focused on Krishna. So life in general in spiritual life is very, very rare, right? And then there are certain ages. Some of you are very pious and saintly, but there are certain ages when you are constantly impetuously attracted by the opposite sex. The boy is attracted to girl, the girl is attracted to boy, and you see this all over, everywhere, and they cannot think of anything except for that much. If this girl doesn't work out, if that boy doesn't work out, then the next one. They're looking for this type of hair, that type of body. It's extremely distracting. Many of you are actually in that age, and it's a very difficult time to be in. It's actually such a great relief to be out of it, out of that kind of pressure. It's like, you see a person walking, a young girl walking, and you see how conscious she is of her body, how she is conscious of who might be looking at her, how conscious of how she needs to carry herself, how much time she has taken to put on the particular appearance in front of the whole world, right? Same thing with the boy. You can just see these things happening. You have to be out of that kind of body to be able to observe all of these things happening. But you just see it and you say, how much of my attention was taken up by these kinds of things when I was of that age? right? It's extremely difficult, the hormonal craziness that happens, okay? So it's very sudurlabham, okay? Now we'll talk about the next part of this verse where Krishna is saying, Plavam Sukalpam Guru Karana Dharam. Plavam means boat. Plavam means boat. And Sukalpam. Sukalpam means, Kalpa means to conceive of something. Sankalpa means to conceive of, I am going to do this, to establish your intention that I am going to do this particular thing. It starts with that. Everything starts with an intention, right? So you start with an intention and then you do that. Now, when everything around you is suitable for accomplishing that intention, then it's called Sukalpam. So for example, if you have the intention to make money, then you have to have a money-making mind and you need to be in a money-making place, right? Money-making mind will find money-making places anywhere, but you need to be in that kind of place. So for example, if you want to be a businessman, then there is no use being in Sudbury. You need to be on Bay Street in Toronto, right? If you want to be a medical man, you want to be on University Avenue in Toronto, like if you want to study that. Of course, you can be a medical man anywhere, but if you want to really advance, right? If you want to be a really solid IT person, you have to be in Silicon Valley, right? That's where things are happening, right? You can do IT anywhere else, but that's just, like that. So similarly, Sukalpam means that if your sankalpa is to attain spiritual perfection, then you are in the right place, in the right time, in the right body, hearing this verse right now. Plavam Sukalpam. What has to be done? You have to accept Guru as your captain. So, in ancient times, there would be a merchant. The merchant was not necessarily a good navigation person. It has been going on from time immemorial where people collect some goods that they have locally and then they take them on a ship to somewhere else, they sell them there, they buy something else from there, they bring it back. And in this way, in the margin, they keep making money, right? You buy it for 100 gold coins, you sell it for 150, now you have 50 gold coins profit. Now you buy for 150 gold, or you need 10 gold coins for your own sustenance. So your capital is now 140 gold coins. And you buy that 140 gold coins, you come back here and you sell it for 240, and in this way your capital keeps on increasing, right? That's the goal. But the merchants would not necessarily know how to take their goods from one place to another good place. So they would hire the best possible captain and say, if I make it successfully up and down, you will get 40 gold coins or 20 gold coins, whatever that might be. That's the fees of the captain, right? So in this particular case, we are the owner of the goods. We are the owner of the goods. Like, what is that goods? The body that we have, right? Because we are, Krishna says in the 13th chapter, who is that? Kshetrajnam chap, Kshetrajnam, we are Kshetrajna, right? But Krishna is also Kshetrajna, Kshetrajnam chape mam vidhi, sarva kshetreshu bharata, but we are the Kshetrajna, right? So we are the owner of this field, this asset, okay? But this asset has to be put under the direction of the spiritual master, Guru Karanadharam. Now, Karanadharam has many meanings, okay? So Karanadharam means captain, but Karanadharam means one who has your ear. Does the Guru have your ear, or does somebody else and something else have your ear? And this having your ear is of two types. Guru he can say the message, or he can grab you also by the ear. Karanadharam, Karanadharanam, iti Karanadharam. So there are two Karanadharams. Like, one is, does the Guru have your ear, or does the Guru have your ear? Both of them are important. And is the Guru guiding you? So Karanadharam means, is he guiding your ship? Are you accepting guidance from the Guru? Why is that? Because Mayanukulena Nabhasvateritam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, has left behind so much for us. He has left behind instructions about his own nature, about his own characteristics. Past times, we were discussing some yesterday, right? Krishna has left behind philosophical understanding of what is this body, how is it made, what is the nature, how the modes of material nature are acting upon us, right? He has left all of these instructions behind. He has left behind a specific process. He has left behind the Bhagavad Vidhi, how we can learn by hearing about Krishna and his devotees, Bhagavad Gita. He has also left behind the Archana Vidhi, he has also personally appeared in front of us as his deity form. So Srila Prabhupada says that, I heard Radha Govind Maharaj say, more recently than Srila Prabhupada, but recently I heard a thing where Radha Govind Maharaj was saying, he was traveling in the Middle East. Radha Govind Maharaj speaks in a Bihari sort of accent, right? So he says, he was saying, Hum gaye the. So he was saying that he was in the Middle East sitting there, and one officer who was a Muslim officer was observing him very closely. So he felt like this person wants to have a conversation with me. So he looked at him and he acknowledged him. And the moment he acknowledged him, Muslim officer came close to him, sat down and said, "हमने सुना है आप पत्थर पूजते हैं." And he said like this. And Radha Govind Maharaj said, "पत्थर नहीं पूजते हम, पत्थर पे तो खड़े हम, पैर देखिए." He was showing that his feet is touching the foot. We don't worship stones. He said, हम पत्थर में जो भगवान है उनको पूजते हैं. So he was mystified by that. He said, so he said, okay, आप नमाज पढ़ते हो? So he said, 5 बार. He said 5 times a day. जब आप नमाज पढ़ते हो तो आपके अल्लाह के कान है कि नहीं? आप जब नमाज पढ़ते हो तो अल्लाह आपका नमाज सुनता है कि नहीं? हाँ, जरूर सुनता है. तो सुनता है तो अल्लाह के कान नहीं है क्या? So then he started explaining this to him, so he started explaining, अगर कान है तो तुम्हारा अल्लाह गूंगा है क्या? मुंह है कि नहीं आपके अल्लाह का? He was saying. So basically he proved from these logical statements that God has all the senses and all the forms. So what the important thing from this whole exchange is, what Srila Prabhupada says is that Krishna is spiritual, 100% spiritual. But my eyes are material. My sense of touch is material. My sense of smell is material. My sense of taste is material. All my senses are material. So how can I access transcendence? So Krishna is so kind, so merciful, that he comes to us in the form that I can see, even though my eyes are material, charma chakshu. So because I have charma chakshu, he appears in a form that is looking like it is made of material elements. But actually, advanced devotees don't see the form of the Lord as material. They see him as a person. So someone can say, oh, you can imagine anything you like, but it's not imagination. There is imagination also. People imagine, but the people who imagine, their behavior is also different. Right? But person who actually sees the Supreme Personality of Godhead, their whole life will revolve around the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Imagination cannot revolve around that. Imagination will sleep as long as they want. The person who sees Supreme Personality of Godhead will say, no, Krishna is waiting for me. Mother Satvadhanu said once to me. You know who is Mother Satvadhanu? She is wife of Brahma Prabhu in Toronto. They are the pujaris of Shri Radha Kirchur Gopinath for more than 35 years. Okay? They haven't missed Mangalarti one day. Even when they were sick, they came. Even they were not doing their service, they came. For the whole 35 years, the only break that they have had is 1 month when some devotees send them to Vrindavan once in their life. Any other time, they are in Toronto. When Brahma Prabhu heard that his father had passed away, he stayed in the temple doing his seva. And he found out when the funeral was. He did his seva in the morning. He went to Montreal during the daytime. He attended the funeral of his father, came back and was on the altar the next morning. Okay? This is his dedication. So Mother Satvadhanu told me, Mother Satvadhanu is like that. When I started cooking for Krishna many years ago, when I started cooking for Krishna, she said, you know, Krishna is an innocent little boy. She speaks in a Mauritian accent, which I cannot replicate. Okay? Krishna is an innocent little boy. When you tell him that I will come here and I will serve you, then he waits. He said, my devotee told me that he will come. He believes you. she said. Because he's innocent little boy. And if you don't come and do what you had told him to do, then he's worried. He's saying, where is my devotee? Where is my devotee? Why he has not come? He told me that he was going to come. Why he has not come? Like that. So that is her mood. When she makes Radha Krishna Gopinath's pagdi every day. So she does that all within 1.5 hour. The whole thing within a short amount of time. So her mood is that if I don't come and make Krishna's pagdi, then Krishna will wonder what happened to me, whether I'm okay, why I have not come. If I'm okay, because Krishna knows that I'm okay, then why I did not come? Why did the devotee speak like this to me? Now, as human beings, if somebody tells you that somebody is going to do something for you and they don't do it, what do you think? Why? First you think, something happened to them? Are they okay? And then you find out that they're okay. And then you wonder, if they're okay, then why didn't they not come? Do they not like me anymore? Do we think like this? Huh? Maybe, did I do something to hurt them? Huh? So, Krishna is an innocent little boy. His Mugdhata and his Sarvadhyata is reconciled in him. All contradictions are reconciled in Krishna. So Krishna is Mugdha, which means he's like a little child like that, running around. He's also Sarvadhya at the same time. But anyways, Krishna has given us his deity form to serve. So, Mayanukulena Nabhasvateritam. This is favorable winds pushing us along our way. Right? Puman Bhavabdhim Na Taret Sa Atmaha. So if you are capable of swimming, let's say you are an expert. Who's an expert swimmer here? You're an expert swimmer?
I swim, not
You swim.
But he didn't defeat me. I swim faster.
Okay. You swam faster. Fine. Both of you are expert swimmers. Okay. Now, if you fall in the water and if you don't swim, what does it mean?
We're gonna drown.
Yeah, draw.
What does it mean? You fall in the water, a person who
We are
can
not
swim does
expert
not
swimmer.
swim means
We are not swimmer.
आने के बावजूद भी
नहीं, अगर उसको तैरना आता है लेकिन वो पानी में गिर के तैरता नहीं है,
आलसी है वो.
No, he's not utilizing
Murk.
his
वो
potential.
आत्महत्या करने के लिए गया है आपने. हाँ? हाँ? पुमान भवाब्धिम न तरेत स आत्महा. तो आपको भगवान श्री कृष्ण ने मानव शरीर दिया है. आपको भगवान श्री कृष्ण ने भगवद गीता श्रीमद् भागवतम दिया है. आपको भगवान श्री कृष्ण ने हरिनाम जाप की विधि दी है. आपको भगवान श्री कृष्ण ने अर्चना मार्ग दिया है. आपको भगवान श्री कृष्ण ने सब कुछ दिया है. आपको आपके सामने भगवान श्री कृष्ण ने सैकड़ों गुरु रखे हैं. And you don't follow this, what Krishna has given you, then what? आत्महत्या करने आया है ये, है ना? So this is the thing. So we have to really, when we are not pursuing Krishna consciousness, then we have to have that consciousness कि मैं अभी आत्महत्या कर रहा हूँ, कर रही हूँ. This is important to understand. Huh? So anyways, so this much I wanted to say. We started a little bit late. So even though soul cannot be killed, the soul can be killed how? If you take gold, and if you take the gold and alloy it with iron, then it becomes, does it remain gold?
No.
Then you further alloy it with tin. Then you further alloy it with lead. You further alloy it with some other even lower and lower metals. Does it remain gold? So killer of the soul means that you are a soul not acting as a soul. Okay? So you have to remember this much, that if I am not acting in Krishna consciousness right now, then what am I doing? Killing my own nature, alloying myself. That's why Bhakti, Srila Prabhupada uses the word unalloyed devotion. Unalloyed, which means that I am gold, but I am alloying myself with this rusty stuff, things that rust. Lust is compared to iron and love is compared to gold. So if I take gold and I put iron into it and make it an alloy, then even though it's gold, it starts rusting, isn't it? Because it's alloy. Now, there may be some combination of gold and iron that does not rust, but I don't know about such a combination myself. But still, I'm trying to give you an example to not be alloyed with these things. So whenever we go out, when we go to Walmart, when we're working, we have to remain unalloyed inside. Inside we have to remain unalloyed, then we can cross over the ocean. Okay? So I'll stop there. And if there's any questions, comments or concerns, please let me know. Or realizations also. Yes, sir.
So I have it's a little bit of two-part question. So I'm sorry if it sounds silly, but
No
so-
question is silly. I'll tell you something.
so
The only question that is silly is asked by a person who does not intend to follow the purport of the answer that is received.
Yeah.
Otherwise, no question is silly.
okay. So the bhakti is not written in our bhagya, right? Like it is not already written that he will receive, this person will do bhakti and this person will not. Is it like that? And if it's, second question is that like everyone should be like we try to like Krishna consciousness, this movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, sorry.
No.
So the movement is to spread Krishna consciousness everywhere, right? But if we look at like a few years ago, right, before Prabhupada, no one came out of India, right? So how can someone expect that a person who is born in some remote island to have bhakti? Like how can God can Krishna can think that he will be, so let's send him in human body, because it's he's completely in remote island, so he doesn't know even if God exists or not. He does not even know about the concept of God. Then how can he be?
Okay. Actually, at one level, Srila Prabhupada says that everybody will make it back home, one way or the other. They may take a very long time, but they will make it back home. Because you belong home. You belong in the spiritual level. Okay? So finally, even if whenever Krishna says, hey, no noise, noiseless, Chaitanya, are you? No noise. You can play quietly, no noise. Okay? Yes. You can flush there. Yes. Okay, it's okay. The class is about to end anyways. Let's not bother you too much. So, who is the one person who has always been with us? In everybody. Krishna has been with us, right? So, even though Lord Brahma was on an island, right? He was on an island, on lotus. There was the water of, Garbhodaka ocean was there, right? Lord Brahma was on an island. There was nobody, there was darkness, right? So what happened to Lord Brahma and how did he get the information that he's supposed to meditate on Krishna? How did he get that? Who gave it to him? If
Krishna himself.
So Krishna himself gave it to him in the heart, right? Tapa, he said, tapa, two phrases he heard in his heart, tapa. At that time, language even was not there. Can you imagine the beginning of creation where language was not present in the creation? Light was not present in the creation. Like, just Brahma was there, the lotus was there, the water was there. He could not see anything else. You just imagine. Morning was there, not there, night was not there, sun was not there, moon was not there, stars were not there, nothing was there. So Brahma is a secondary creator. So, can you imagine a more remote island than that? No possibility, right? So Brahma was, how he heard in his heart. Tapa, from whom? From Krishna. Right? And then he performed the austerities, and then Brahma got the consciousness, and then he started saying, Ishvaraha Paramaha Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. And then Chinta, like the whole Brahma Samhita came out. So Krishna gave him language. Krishna gave him all the mantras. Krishna passed the Gayatri to him. Right? Everything from within the heart. So if somebody, now that is one extreme of a very fortunate person who has received like this. But it is possible that you have been born in human life because you have kind of gone through the natural consciousness evolution through the different 8 billion species of life. But you may have a desire never to know Krishna. Upadrishta Anumanta Bharta Bhokta Maheshwara Paramatmeti Chapyukto Dehesmi Madhusudana. Correct? So Paramatma is living in your heart. And if you have said that I don't want to know anything about God ever, then what will God do? He will say, chup jata main. I will hide myself. Right? So a person who does not want it will not receive it. And a person who does not want it will not take it even though they receive it. They will make postpone. Like you see many devotees who are interested in Krishna consciousness, but whenever an opportunity comes to render some service, go and hear some class or go and do some service, then something else comes up. Relatives will visit or they will go some out of town. This will always happen. I'm not making fun of anybody. This happens naturally sometimes, but there are some devotees that I have observed who are very interested, but somehow or the other the circumstances never permit them to do this. So that is because they don't actually want to do it. They're expressing externally that they want to do it. But inside Krishna says, oh, why don't you go to this beach? Why don't you go invite somebody over for dinner? When it's okay, Guru Maharaj is coming, but invite someone over for dinner on that night. Right? No, you bring your guest and come and see Guru Maharaj. That's what you're supposed to do. Right? You don't feed them at your home. You bring them here and feed them the prasadam here. Or better even, get them here early and get them to cut up the vegetables. Right? That's what we should be doing. Right? And eventually, so these things happen. Right? But, and the third aspect of this, Prabhu, is that Srila Prabhupada came out of his causeless mercy. Srila Prabhupada came out of the causeless mercy of his Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who said, go and teach people in the West about this. Right? Because Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had tried before also. He sent disciples to London, etc. It didn't quite work out. But so the acharyas are always thinking about those who don't have it. And they are going to remote places. It's not only in Vaishnava tradition, it also happens in Christian tradition, etc. When they went to Africa, all the preachers, they went to Africa, trying to, that is a natural aspect of anybody who is spiritually minded. Out of causeless mercy they go. And there are bhajans also that mention this in many different ways, but the devotees make everybody fortunate. So let's say you are walking around here, chanting Hare Krishna. All these poor living entities who have become pious and sinful trees will be benefited. Because they will hear the holy name. And they have no choice not to hear, no? They are trees. They can't go away, they can't close their ears, they hear. The living entities, the little mosquitoes, the bees, like all these different insects that are flying around here will hear you. So Haridas Thakur said, chant loudly so that everybody else can benefit also, not only you. That's why we don't, two reasons why we don't chant in the mind. One is we cannot focus and concentrate, and second one is it doesn't become transcendental, and the third reason is that we want to benefit everybody else while chanting. So we chant audibly so that everybody around us can chant. We can chant loudly like Haridas Thakur. So Haridas Thakur chanted different rounds in different levels of volume. He chanted 64 rounds loudly, 64 rounds he murmured, and 64 rounds he chanted in the mind. Like that. 192 rounds he would chant every day. He would only eat and sleep for 1.5 to 2 hours maximum. 22 hours he was chanting every day. Now that's why he's Namacharya. But nobody can chant in the mind unless you have murmured, and nobody can murmur unless you have chanted loudly. So you know how chanting starts in our life? It starts in Kirtan, correct? People start chanting Kirtan, then they do jap, and then they can do Smarana. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. Okay? So makes sense, right?
Yes.
He is not unfair to anybody. If somebody is not getting it, it's because they desire not to get it. But in spite of their desire, sometimes people go. Like when we go out on Harinam, do some people get irritated with us? What does that mean? Krishna has sent us there to irritate them. Even though they don't want it, Krishna wants it.
Yeah.
So we irritate them. What can we do? We try not to overdo it. But we don't mind irritating people. Like we are in the pandemic, I used to go on Harinam on the streets. And in the pandemic, because you cannot gather in people. So Vittal Bhakta and I, the two of us would go out on Harinam. So in Toronto. So we'd go out there and they had set up, later on, they had set up this, what is known as Cafe Tio, which means that they block off one lane of the road and they allow the restaurant to put tables and chairs outside.
Yeah.
So they're eating outside, outdoor. Right? So we used to go outside Summer Hill subway station, which is close to the temple. Right? I used to go on that corner just next to that bridge and I used to chant. And then 15 minutes, 20 minutes was the maximum because in 20 minutes, the waiter from the restaurant would come and say, can you not ring those bells? Because the sound is awakening them from their slumber. So they're eating meat, they're drinking alcohol. The sound of the karadas is awakening them and says, "Band karo alarm, snooze." So then finally I discovered that 20 minutes is my limit. So in 20 minutes I would move to some other location and start irritating people there. And then 20 minutes later I would go somewhere else until Vittal Bhakta got tired and we went back home. Like that. But we're meant to wake up people, even if they don't. So we give them prasad without telling them it's prasad. We tell them the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita without telling them it's from the Bhagavad Gita. Because then, when they hear the Bhagavad Gita, they say, "Oh, I've already heard it. This seems to make sense. This is great." Right? We tell them, we say so many things. Like that's why we name our children and according to the name of Krishna. So that without knowing, the people will be chanting. Like that I met one Muslim man who was telling me that he has a good friend. He was from the Middle East and I met him in Poland. And he was telling me, he was driving an Uber. And he was telling me, I have an Indian friend. And he was saying, his name is, let me think, Krishna. He said, his name is Krishna. So whoever is the parent of that person who was his colleague in the Middle East from Pakistan is getting that person from Pakistan to chant the names of Krishna in Poland. See how much benefit is there? So Krishna is amazing. Yeah. Anything else? Anything else?
Online, one question.
One question from online.
Yes. Hare Krishna Prabhu, if a swimmer is not swimming, could we also interpret that the person is following Akarma? Could you please explain the meanings of karma, akarma and nishkarma?
Well, akarma and vikarma. And nishkarma is the same as akarma. Okay. So karma means, it has many meanings and it can be used in many different contexts, but it means the work that you do, the result that you get for the work that you do, and so those two things can mean karma, right? And there's deeper and deeper meanings of that also. And vikarma means the work that is not supposed to be done and the result that is obtained by doing stuff that is not supposed to be done. That is vikarma. It's called papa. And karma is also called punya. Now akarma is outside of this realm. It means that you are neither getting a positive result, no punya and no papa. And in fact, what is happening is aprarabdha phalam papam utam bijam phalom mukham kramena pradiyata vishnu bhakti ratatmanam, which means that it is that activity by which all the karma and vikarma results and activities are getting burned off. Aprarabdha phalam papam utam bijam phalom mukham kramena praliyata. Praliyata means to destroy. Pralayam. Praliyata. Phaliyeta Vishnu Bhakti Rathatmanam. Anybody who does Vishnu Bhakti. So the 9 activities of Krishna consciousness: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Parjavanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Saksham Atmani Velayam qualify as Akarma or Nishkarma. Akarma or Nishkarma. Okay? Those are 9 activities. Now, if a person is in the water and is not swimming, that means that they are actually doing Vikarma, not Akarma. Krishna says, Karmanya Karmanya. So Krishna says, na such sannyasi cha yogi cha na niragnir na chakriya. What is that verse? From the 5th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Can you get Bhagavad Gita? Can you get Bhagavad Gita?
उधर ही चाहे बहुत सारी है.
Get a Bhagavad Gita from the 5th chapter. So Krishna describes 4th or 5th chapter. I will find the exact verse. We're supposed to know this by heart.
भक्ति शास्त्री भक्ति शास्त्री भक्ति शास्त्री भक्ति शास्त्री भक्ति शास्त्री बोलो.
हाँ. There are 2 verses. One is Neyasa Nitya Sannyasi Yona Dveshtina Kankshati Nirdando hi Mahabaho Sukham Bandhat Pramuchati. One who neither hates or desires the fruits of his activities is known to be always denounced. So Nishkarma means who does not hate or such a person free from all dualities easily overcomes material bondage and is completely liberated, O mighty Arjuna. And then there is one more verse. Yoga yukto vichuddhatma vijitatma jitendriya sarvabhutatma bhutatma kurvannapi na lipyate. One who works in devotion, who is a pure soul and who controls his mind and senses is dear to everyone, and everyone is dear to him. Though always working, such a man is never entangled. There is one more. No praharishyet priyam prapya, no dvijit prapya chapriyam, sthira buddhira sammudo, brahmavid brahmani sthita. A person who neither rejoices upon achieving something pleasant, nor laments upon obtaining something unpleasant, who is self-intelligent, who is unbewildered, who knows the science of God, already situated in the transcendence. And there's one more. I can't. Where is that verse? Where is that verse?
मम्मा पापा बोलावे છે.
Google it.
What?
Na niragni na chakriya. That is the actual.
6.1 maybe.
6.1? 6.1. What is 6.1? Anashita karma phalam karma karoti yah saha sasya sannyasi cha yogi cha naniragnana chakriyah. Shri Bhagavan vacha anashita karma phalam karyam karma karoti yah sasannyasi cha yogi cha naniragnana chakriyah. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, this is chapter 6, verse number 1. One who is unattached to the fruits of his work and who works as he is obligated is in the renounced order of life. And he is not he who lights no fire and performs no duty. So when you're in the water, you can swim, your duty is to swim. Right? You don't swim, that is, Atmahatya is actually Mahapap. Atmahatya is actually Vikarma. क्या हो गया उसको?
Attention.
Okay, but we are almost, so it's okay. he will get it. Attention of all the people. Any other questions, comments, concerns?
Just one question.
Yes,
So we said that every living entity and everything has a life in it. So there is a consciousness in trees also. There is a consciousness in ourselves and the animal also. So the people who eats animal, they like the people who it's only vegetarian and then they do not offer it to Krishna. They are still doing the papa or.
Yes, 100%. There is a particular planet for those who eat vegetarian food only. Particular hellish planet. Its name is Krivi Bhojan. So on Krivi Bhojan planet, there are only one type of living entity. They are all worms. And one worm eats the other worm. And each worm can travel 1 yojana in one lifetime. And by traveling, by the time it reaches 1 yojana, it will be eaten by another worm. Right? And then it travels 1 more yojana. And this planet is 800,000 yojanas long. So if you go to Krivi Bhojan, for example, you can only get out of there in 800,000 yojanas, lifetimes, as Krivi Bhojan. In 1 year, it can travel 1 yojana and it will be eaten up by another worm. So the worms are eating each other, basically. That's how they live on that planet, Krivi Bhojan. So anybody there are 2 things that happen, okay? When I become responsible for the death of a rice or grain, then I have to become a rice grain and have to be eaten by that living entity which I ate. Right? And because I committed so much sinful activity, I have to live my duration of life in Krivi Bhojan. Is it 800,000 or 100,000? I don't remember right now. But it is several 100,000. So therefore, anything that we do not in Krishna consciousness, we become responsible for the reactions. So let's say I'm driving on the road, okay, and I kill an insect that hits my windshield. If I am not doing it for Krishna, then I am a murderer of that insect. So I'm going sightseeing, driving for 300 miles. All the insects who died on my windshield are my responsibility. It's true. So I will have to pay for it. If I'm going there on the business of Krishna, then all those living entities get the benefit of sacrificing their life in the service of Krishna, even though they were not actively intending to do that. That is called Ajnata Sukruti. Somehow or the other they came in contact with. Like Sankirtan party is walking around in the park singing, and one worm gets crushed by one of the devotees who is on Sankirtan. That worm is going back because unconsciously has been liberated by the devotee. We don't go around killing worms, by the way. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. We don't do that. But if unconsciously it happens. So even if there's Krishna's kitchen, and let's say there's some cockroaches in Krishna's kitchen, and the cook says these cockroaches are going to enjoy the bhoga or enter the bhoga or cause unconscious difficult situation, and the cook kills them, then they are also going back. And actually it is a fact that such insects were devotees who committed offenses in previous lifetimes. That's why they have come back to the temple. And they're killed by the devotee in the service of Krishna, and they're going back. So fact is, we cannot eat anything that is not offered.
Counter question. So it will be very stupid question, but
Not stupid.
The person who eats meat, if that thought is about if the other person who is vegetarian offering it to Krishna, why I can't offer the meat to Krishna?
Mm-hmm.
That's like it's not.
Well,
That's a stupid question. Sorry.
There are 2 forms in which Krishna eats meat. Okay? One form is at Narsingadev, but you have to be Hiranyakashipu. Okay, because he was drinking his blood, he was doing this thing, like it was a very horrific situation for a, it's very difficult. Another form is a universal form. Rasishnu Prabhavishnu cha. That is, I will read this from the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Look at these verses, okay? 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Are we on a time limit of any kind?
No, बिल्कुल नहीं.
Nahin, na?
नहीं.
So here,
Is there a time limit by the way? No, okay.
It's Sunday.
Morning.
रूपं महत्ते बहुवक्त्र नेत्रं महाबाहो बहुबाहुरुपादं बहूदरं बहुदंष्ट्राकरालं दृष्ट्वा लोकाः प्रव्यथितास्तथाहम्. O mighty armed one, all the planets with their demigods are disturbed at seeing your great form, with its many faces, eyes, arms, thighs, legs and bellies, and your many terrible teeth. As they are disturbed, so am I. And then he says, Battle of Kurukshetra, 640 million warriors died, right? Here is Krishna eating meat. Here. Ame chatvam dharta rashtrasya putraah sarve sahaivavani palasanghai Bhishmo drona suta putras tathasau sahasmadiyayrapi yodha mukhyai Vaktrani te tvaramana vishanti Damshtra karalani bhayanakani Kechid vilagna dashanantareshu Sandrishyante churditair uttamangai. The heads of the warriors are being crushed by Krishna's Vishwarupa's teeth. All the sons of Dhritarashtra, along with their allied kings and Bhishma, Drona, Karna, and our chief soldiers also, are rushing into your fearful mouths. And some I see trapped with heads smashed between your teeth. Can you imagine this ghastly scene? Another one. Yatha nadinam bahavombu vega samudraveva vimukha dravanti tatha tavami naraloka veera vishanti vaktrana vivijwalanti. As the many waves of the rivers flow into the ocean, so do all these great warriors enter into your blazing mouths. So, Krishna eats meat in his universal form, and that is known as death. So everybody will be eaten. None of us are going to escape here alive. But only in that form he eats. In his form as Krishna, as Supreme Personality of Godhead, he does not eat meat. He eats patram pushpam phalam toyam yogya prayachati tadaham bhakti upahamasnami prayatatmanaha and yadnashishta santo muchante sarvakilvijaya gurjate papa yekadatatmakarana. So it's like if you are going to invite somebody to your house, you feed them what they want to eat, isn't it? You cannot feed them something that they cannot eat. So therefore you invite Krishna to your house, you feed him what he wants to eat. And the devotee only eats what his remnants are. Does not eat anything else. Okay? Make sense?
Yeah.
Somebody won't understand this, somebody won't accept it, what can we do about it?
Yeah.
Srila Prabhupada was passing on a morning walk, and there was a man on a beach, a man who had caught many fish. You know, people throw the line and they catch the fish. So he had caught many fish, and he was holding all the fish like this, you know, with the ropes tied. He was holding all the fish. They were hanging like this from his hand, and he was holding them. And this person who was passing by, probably knowing that these people are vegetarian, dangled the fish in front of the devotees' faces and said, and passed like that. He did that. Srila Prabhupada said, enjoy. And then he went 4 steps further and he said, and suffer. What can we do? Enjoy and suffer. One person that I met in the temple, he is a white-bodied person, and he became vegetarian at a certain point in his life. And you know why he became vegetarian? Because he was a roofer. You know who's a roofer? They put the roofs on the homes. And the roofs, when they repair the roofs, you know the roof, many of the tiles have asphalt, bitumen, tar in them. So when they repair the roofs, they actually melt the tar and they put it on the specific places to seal the leaks. They are doing some certain kind of repair. Shingles, you know, they put the shingles. And one time he had an accident in which the hot tar, his hand went into the hot tar. It was a painful accident. He survived. He still has his hands. But he said, at that time, I smelled the smell of barbecue. And I felt, this is what I'm eating. I'm eating my own flesh. And he had the right realization at that point. He never ate meat after that. Right? So that's what it is. But people won't understand it. But the smell of the barbecue and the smell of the cremation ground is the same. Many of you are young enough to have never seen these things. But you will. As you get to my age, you will see many of these things. And you will see it's the same. These are different levels of answers for different levels of people. Okay? Somebody won't listen. What can you do? Samjana?
Yeah, for sure.
Anything else?
There's a question online.
Online? Okay, we'll take one last question.
Question
Oh,
over
Mataji had a question. Live.
Let's say food is not being offered for XYZ reason, and while we are having the food, we are offering in our mind. Does that considered as an offered food?
If that food was the only thing that you had between you and starvation to death, yes.
Otherwise,
So the principle here is that we have to do our best. And Krishna understands. There are many situations in which it's very difficult. So Krishna understands. But there are certain very elevated persons who can do such things. They can like take out something from their back pocket and they can offer it to Krishna with their left hand, and Krishna will eat. Huh? Like Vidurani's famous pastime, right? Krishna came to her house with uninvited. Duryodhana invited Krishna for a meal, and he went to Hastinapur. And Duryodhana prepared a big feast because he wanted to make Krishna indebted to himself. Krishna understood this and he did not eat there. So on his way back, Vidura said, "You come to my house." And he did not tell his wife that Krishna is coming for lunch. Okay? So Krishna came unannounced with Vidura. And Vidura was there and she had nothing prepared at that time, and Krishna is coming for lunch. So all she had in her house was bananas. And she was so much in love. She was in the mood of Vatsalya Bhakti, Vidurani. She was in so much in anxiety that she has to feed Krishna something. He has come to her house, that she was peeling the bananas, throwing away the banana and giving him the peel. And Krishna was eating the peel because she was seeing that Krishna is eating the food that I am offering him. And Krishna was eating. Vidura is in Dasya Rasa. So he was observing what is going on here. And he's saying to his wife, "Hey, Sudhyo, you're feeding him the peels." And Krishna is like, Stop. I'm enjoying what she's feeding me. So he ate the peels. But we are not in that situation. So we should try not to do that. If it's an absolute emergency, even if it's not total starvation, because we are not yet pure devotees, and we cannot tolerate until starvation. It's okay, but next time do better. Be prepared.
So just related to this question, if we're in a hurry and like rushing for the work or anywhere, then like it will take time, like 10-15 minutes usually. So we can just go in front and show the DT and say Hare Krishna or whatever.
Wake up 15 minutes earlier. 15 minutes earlier.
And keep a picture altar with you all the time, even in the phone at least.
You can offer. You can offer outside food. You can offer. Krishna is kind. He's not niyamagrahi. He's bhavagrahi. So do your best. But don't niyamagrahi. Don't be niyamagrahi. He is not niyamagrahi, but you don't be niyamagrahi. In other words, he's not hell-bent upon rules and regulations, but you don't be neglectful of the rules and regulations. Yeah, you have to, both ways. Okay?
Online questions here.
One last question.
Jaldi kahi lag.
Prabhu, I want to seek knowledge on Bhagavad Gita 4.18. Karmanya karma yah pashyed karmani cha karma yah sabuddhi maneshu sayukta kritsana karma krita.
Srila Prabhupada is giving translation and purport. What is the question?
I want to seek knowledge, that's it. On 4.18.
So you want to, is the confusion that you want to say how to see inaction in action, action in inaction? Huh? Karmanya akarmanya pashyet. So inaction in action and action in inaction. By the way, does anybody have to go?
Gaurav and Jai Jagdish.
So please make the offering and give them some prasad.
Okay. Offering kar do.
You can put a barrier here.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yeah. Barrier ya mukhi offering.
No, Prabhu. You have to take some prasad. So make the offering, give them something on the side, and you eat after 20 minutes.
I'll wait 5
Yeah, jaldi band karne. Adas khai che.
minutes. He's already gone.
Huh? No, just ask him. Ask him.
You drop him then sometime.
Call him.
I will drop.
Drop some prasad. Yeah, that's a good idea. Pull it from center. Okay, so inaction in action and action in inaction. Okay, so basically, inaction in action means when you are acting in Krishna consciousness. So you are very active, but actually it's not giving any karmic reactions. So that's one thing. And action in inaction means somebody sitting quietly. Like Vijay Patel Prabhu gives me an example of a man sitting quietly in the temple room. He's sitting very quietly, but Vijay Patel Prabhu said, "Iske man mein bahut kuch chal raha hai." So he's actually committing possibly many vikarmas inside. So he's angry about something, agitated about something. Right? So that is action in inaction. You're not actually doing something, or you're neglecting some action that you're supposed to do. That is, you're not acting, but that is also action because you're creating vikarmas as a result of that. But if you need more specific questions, you please write to me at das@dasadas.com, das@dasadas.com, and we can have a more detailed conversation about it. Okay? If that helps, I hope that helps. Okay. But Srila Prabhupada's purport is very clear there. So it's a one paragraph purport. I will read that purport out to you and then we'll end this. A person acting in Krishna consciousness is naturally free from the bonds of karma. His activities are all performed for Krishna. Therefore, he does not enjoy or suffer any of the effects of work. Consequently, he is intelligent in human society, even though he is engaged in all sorts of activities for Krishna. Akarma means without reaction to work. The impersonalist ceases fruitive activities out of fear, so that the resultant action may not be a stumbling block on the path of self-realization. But the personalist knows rightly his position as the eternal servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, he engages himself in the activities of Krishna consciousness. Because everything is done for Krishna, he enjoys only transcendental happiness in the discharge of this service. Those who are engaged in this process are known to be without desire for personal sense gratification. The sense of eternal servitorship to Krishna makes one immune to all sorts of reactionary elements of work. So Srila Prabhupada's purport is very clear on that verse. So please study that purport carefully and Srila Prabhupada will help you to understand this really, really well. Okay? Om Tat Sat. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyascha. Ananta Koti Vaishnavindra ki jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram.